Today's Park Spotlight is going to be a pretty interesting one because it uses the exact same layout as our big feature last week, which over 20,000 of you really enjoyed. So if you enjoyed last week's park, you're going to like this one just as much, as it has a lot of the similar features, such as go-karts, dueling coasters, a gigantic wooden coaster, mine trains, water rides, indoor water parks, you name it. It has it, but it does it completely differently, and it is done by, yet again, another pioneer / legend in this community. And let's not forget that this is another collaboration, so 5 incredible builders put their minds together to build what you're seeing in front of you here today. So an absolute legendary mega park. Let's dive right on into it. Hey yo, my Planet Coaster friends, Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another episode of Park Spotlight. Today we're going to be looking at Chaddington Falls, created by CaptainSwzzer, Pillsburyjoboi, Benidict 101, and Kayara, and they did this for the Winder TV's 2-week challenge team edition, which we showcased one of these last week. So if this episode piques your interest and you thoroughly enjoy the content here today, another collab team built last week's. So I'll put a link down in the description below for, I guess, part 1 of this challenge. And if you want to see all of the parks done for this challenge, we'll have a link below to Winder TV's YouTube channel. When we posted last week's video, Winder TV was at 150 subscribers, already up by 90. So you guys have been definitely giving them a boost. Go check them out. Winder TV, links are in the description. And if you want to see all the parks done in this series, I think they're the 2WC teams videos, and I guess there's a bunch of them. So check out all the 2WC teams videos. This is going to be the second one we featured on this channel, as well as the last one, and we'll talk about that later and why in this video. But you can see them all right here, so go check them out and support Winder instead. Continuing on, our creators here say for us, Chaddington Falls is located next to a small British village of Chadley, surrounded by forests and rivers. It's set in a beautiful landscape over 5 legs, each lasting 2 weeks. Is a leg like a challenge? Is that a European way of saying challenge? We were given different tasks to build several areas, further expand the village, build a small camping and parking lots. All the rides and coasters were chosen by the community throughout the voting process. Chaddington Falls offers a big adventure for everyone. Wander through the ancient ruins, play a round of mini golf or club, or go climb in our family area. You might also meet the gnomes in their village to conquer Zoltan, our standout wooden coaster. I wonder if Zoltan has any reference or shout outs to Zoltan's Academy from Chant. I would hope so. In our kids area, you will explore the engineering town of our mascot, Dr. Felix Flux, and discover his latest inventions in his lab, and earn your pilot's license at the Flight Academy. If you're brave enough, face your fears at our Silverstone sponsor, Racing World, which I'm really excited about, featuring our grand dueling coaster, Pillsburyjoboi Racing, the fastest coaster in the UK. Well, that's what last week's park claimed to be the fastest coaster in the UK. Here you can find everything a thrill seeker needs. And if you need to cool off, head to the Aqua, our indoor water park. Very original name for that. Thanks to Winder TV for organizing this event. Cheers, Benidict, Pillsbury, Kayara, and CaptainSwzzer. Boom. Let's delay no further and get right on into it. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. If you saw last week's video, you will immediately go, hey, this looks kind of familiar. Absolutely does. And it also answers a lot of questions. Well, Beartastic did leave a lengthy YouTube comment on the video last week, which I pinned, explaining some of the ins and outs of this challenge and how it worked. We can also draw comparisons to come to our own conclusions. So Bear mentioned that a lot of this stuff was already built by Winder TV. So basically the map layout was designed by Winter TV, and I would assume that includes the boats because those look exactly the same. The island formations are the exact same. This little town doesn't look exactly the same. They did just mention in our read-up that they had to modify the town or do something to it, because I do remember there being like a gas station here or something in last week's park, and there was also like a long path that went back here to some rides and attractions. So they are different, but it does seem to be there is a base layout or infrastructure. This here almost looks the exact same to me. So there are a lot of similarities. With those similarities, we can see that they said that there are 5 legs or 5 challenges throughout this series that lasted over, you know, several months. Last week's had a indoor water park on this island. So what do we see that here? So I'm assuming this is one of the challenges. So it's a very fun, like, it just so happens that I noticed these, and it's the best way to do it is to go back to back 2 weeks in a row so we can directly compare and it's fresh in our minds, right? With that being said, I don't want to keep featuring parks from this series either. You can go check out Winder if you want to see them all, but I do think it's fun to do at least the top 2 creators from this series. So you can kind of see who did the better water park, or, you know, have a mini competition, if you will, and we can kind of play around with things that way. Last week's area back here had an indoor facility / dark ride, so I'm assuming we're going to have something of that sorts, and that was probably one of the challenges, was to make a dark ride of sorts. It also had a lot of flat rides as well, similar to the ones that we're seeing here. Now, if we cross the river over to this side, we can see a lot of comparisons to last week's parks. Go-Karts existed here, Dueling Coasters, as well as I think there was a water ride cascade, although I think I remember seeing it over here. Some of the similar aspects in terms of rides, and so I can almost guarantee that one of the challenges was to make a dueling coaster over here and make go-karts. Could have been 1 or 2 challenges, or both combined. Here, I don't see a whole lot of similarities other than the mini golf. That might have been a challenge, or it might have been a pre-existing template that they had to decorate, as well as the gigantic wooden coaster existed in the other park, but in a much different layout. This one uses Zoltan. Hopefully it has a shout out to or correlation to Zoltan's Academy from Chant, her last big major collab park that a lot of people worked on. And then we have a fun little train ride over here. So we can see a lot of similarities, but completely different parks, right? Now, I definitely have a lot of my own thoughts on this and, you know, things I want to talk about, and we can talk about them later on in the video, or maybe as we walk through the park. But I did get confused on where the park entrance was, and apparently there's a pre-made park entrance here, and then like the official one. So it's pretty much the exact as last week's park, where I guess this is the official entrance, but then the Woody entrance is over here. It's so similar. I feel like I'm, what do you call it? Getting deja vu. But now we're in a completely different area. Different theme, similar layout. It's kind of a cool concept, honestly. And I like this back-to-back featuring this and seeing how you can take essentially the same park layout and build a completely different experience overall. And I think that's really, really fun. And in the past, and in fact, a lot of people have suggested this exact contest idea to me, or similar with like coasters. Like, why don't you build a pre-made coaster and have us all theme it a different way? Or why don't you give us a pre-made park layout and have us all build a different park on it? And you will notice, even after the end of today's video, there's going to be a lot of similarities, and some things are going to feel very familiar to us or slightly the same. And that's fine when you feature, you know, 2 of these parks in our case. Totally fine in the case of 2. But when we get up to, 100, like our community we compete in, suddenly, I guess if it was a collab, we'd have more like 30 to 40. But even still, I don't know if I could feature the same park map 40 different times. I would probably get sick of this map after a while, for sure. But it works really, really well for these smaller communities. So definitely go check out Winder TV. Go check out these smaller communities, because a lot of the challenges that you guys have suggested over the years, they don't really work well when you scale them up. They work really, really well in these smaller communities. Another great example is the Wix's Knockout Challenge, right? Where you get like 10 people to compete and they get knocked out every round every couple weeks until there's one left. Ours would literally go on for 2 years. Or we'd be knocking out 50 people per every 2 weeks. It just doesn't scale well, even though it's such a cool idea. Anyways, here's the Zoltan wooden coaster. Let's check it out from the back and see what it has to offer. Wow, frickin' wee! Absolutely amazing wooden coaster layout. And I feel like I need to almost treat this as like a mini contest of its own. I mean, the idea was a challenge series, right? So in some ways, where we can draw comparisons or be somewhat, have a friendly competition, if you will. I think we're going to do one in seat view at the front. And maybe we could check at nighttime. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, you know, last week's had a Woody, this week's has a Woody. We can kind of compare and have a little mini competition just for fun. I think I like this one better than last week's, even though the layout and the length of the last one, I think the length was bigger on the last one. Yeah, it was. I like the openness of this one, and it felt like it was going pretty fast as well. And just having that open environment going around everything that's on the inside really let me see a lot more visuals on this week's wooden coaster. Let's see if it has any nighttime lighting. We'll ride it in the seat view. Although I kind of wish we had some Viking music or something on this. I think that would be really fitting. All right, let's go. If you guys can hear this, there was some a custom song that was uploaded, and I guess I missed this song. So there was a song for the Zoltan coaster. But we don't know if it's copyright free. They did not tell us. All right, we are back. I took a small little break to reload the park with the custom media folder. There was only one song. It just so happened to be for the station. I don't know if it's particularly attached to this coaster, but it was definitely said the station, and we don't know if it's copyright free. But we did get all these images and videos for other areas of the park that we have not explored or seen yet. I'm not used to checking for custom media because we haven't had any park submissions since that feature was introduced a couple patches ago. So I got to get a little bit more familiar with checking for that. So I've pushed the custom media up on my list a little bit so I notice or remember to check for it in the future. So that is good. Oh, and I say that and immediately see missing stuff. Uh-oh. I restarted the game. I downloaded it, put it in the right folder, and made sure to load from not an autosave. So I don't know why that image isn't showing up. And this is the fun that we get to have with custom media. It's broken in the past for Planet Coaster 1, where some of it works, some of it doesn't, or people made a change and, you know, things happen where they didn't have the file downloaded when they made that change and it broke the link. Hence why I said no custom media for our current contest, because it can cause a lot of problems. And last thing, you know, it's fine when it's just one park like today and okay, we missed out on a sign or two, but when it's 100 plus for an entire community competing in a massive series, that's not good. It's not good at all. So hopefully that's the only sign that's missing, and yeah, fingers crossed. I want to sit in the seat that doesn't have a roof. All right, let's check this one out. I didn't see the name of this. Oh, it was the Tiny Trove or something? I did see it. Too many thoughts on my mind. All right, let's have a look at the little gnomes. Oh, they're so cute. Custom-made gnomesies. All harvesting gems. Gives me the gem cutter vibes from Flux's Viking Park. Love to see it. A little bit of crossover. Fun little family ride here. So to my previous point, drawing comparisons between the two parks. Now that we know it's kind of like a series or a competition challenge, you're naturally going to want to compare them. And as the requirement for all of the creators in this challenge was to make a wooden coaster, suddenly you're dealing with like a wooden coaster contest, right? And as I was saying just a while back, why wouldn't we do a challenge like this on here on Channel 5 Gaming? Is that it doesn't scale well, right? And suddenly it's a coaster. It's you have 100 wooden coasters to look at, not just 100 parks with the same layout, but also 100 wooden coasters, 100 dueling coasters, 100 go-karts. And my philosophy is I like to give people as much freedom as they want with some constraints, but those constraints generally have to be something that will scale well. So if we say you're not allowed to do this or you must do that, it has to scale well. Like for a flume contest example, we're going to look at 100 plus flumes, and that's just the way it is, right? So that is why we basically didn't have much restrictions other than that, and we gave you as much freedom as possible, because you're going to get flavor fatigue of looking at flumes alone. And if we told everybody you must include the color blue, or you must have Vikings included or something like that, then you would suddenly increase the flavor fatigue that much more, right? And I think this challenge, it gave them enough variety. Like, I don't remember seeing like a family-friendly train ride like this. Or maybe we did see a train ride somewhere, but it was completely different, right? Different theme, different area, different setting, and therefore different experience overall, right? The Woodies were different enough that they were completely different experiences, but the fact that they're in the same area does create a little bit of repetition. So to bring it all back around is, I like this concept a lot when we're checking out just the two of them. And we can have a fun little friendly competition between the two here. And that's why I said at the top of the video, if any more of these get sent in to me, I'm not going to be looking at them because of the problems that it creates, where the talking points, the things that I want to point out, the things that I find unique and interesting are no longer true because they're the same across all the parks, right? And I as much as I love to talk, I hate sounding like a broken record, right? We did see this exact same ride in the same area, right? And that's what I'm saying. I don't want to keep having this deja vu time and time and time again if I'm going to be featuring more than just the two. So I'm going to leave it at that kind of, and if you want to see the other ones, you can check them out on Winder TV. So for now, I'm going to try to do my best to focus on the things that we see done differently here. And we're still going to have a little bit of a friendly competition because that's always fun. But so far, both parks have delivered two of the most incredible wooden coasters I've experienced in Planet Coaster 2 to date. It's not often we get these gigantic wooden coasters, especially that are over a kilometer, nearly 2 kilometers long, and done in such a beautiful setting with such great theming. And they even both had, I believe the other one had nighttime lighting as well, so very, very fun to see. This coaster here, Ruin Runner, it's closed down, and when I opened it for the B-roll, it wouldn't go. So we're gonna go check this one out in test mode, but I don't know what was going on with it. I couldn't get the guests to go on, and it would not leave the station. And right now they have it set to close, so maybe they were having an issue on their end. Just seems a little strange to have a ride in the park that's saved into the final version of the park as closed, right? So this is the Ruin Runner, and wait, it's taking off. Oh, it's in test mode. Interesting. Oh, I'm wondering if it did autosave on me. If I wonder if to fix the media, I might have to actually unsubscribe from the park. Because I chose it from my park list, not my saves list. But I guess it's saved. I don't know how that works. Very interesting. Well, let's take a look at this nonetheless. Oh, big chunky guy. Look at all the animations on that. That is fantastic. Even the details on the mouth there, and a big chunky belly button. Oh, wow. That's funny. Because didn't last week we had a big ogre? I think one of the requirements must have been to do some sort of ogre, maybe. That's fun. Yeah, I do. They said last week's was themed around the cryptids, right? like mythological story creatures. This one doesn't necessarily have a theme, does it? Camping, grounds, adventure, and wonder. Yeah. Interesting. Nice little trick track there. And back into the station. I love this setting. It mega gives me Oblivion vibes. What the heck? We exit the station into a staff area? And we can't move from here. That is so weird. Okay, jumping back to the ruins. Yeah, if you look at this area here, you got the water there. This is like when we got out of the jails of Oblivion. There's a little water there, ruins across the lake on a little island. Just the way the trees render and stuff. I love it. In fact, I think the Oblivion is a great idea for a roller coaster / theme park project. I mean, I said that about Skyrim as well, right? We got this Viking pack. Yeah, me and Chant were talking about it in a video, I think. We got this beautiful Viking pack, and I know people loved trying to recreate, you know, coasters and parks from other game series over the years. Very strange that nobody has tried to tackle, you know, building Whiterun or something from, or, you know, Dragon's Reach or something from Skyrim. So here we go. We got another one of these fun jungle park adventure things, and it looks completely different than last week's. I like it. Very cool. So I'm assuming that was obviously one of the challenges to build, you know, a pretend playground. That's cool. I think we could try it out. Why not? But this is to my previous point. This is why we can't do these types of challenges in our community, because I'd have to do this 40 times. I already don't want to do it 2 times. It's cool though. I definitely applaud you guys for making these things because they're cool to look at. They're kind of fun to check out once in a while, and they're not easy to do because they use so many small, intricate pieces, right? And that's not the types of stuff I like to do in Planet Coaster. Like finding these, what's the tiny like little piece that you could fit here? Where's a tiny little piece that you could fit there? Oh, did you know if you take this piece and scale it down, you can use it as a ketchup bottle? I'm like, my brain does not work that way. And I don't have the patience to look through all the little pieces and find out what is the perfect match, right? So yeah, I definitely applaud you guys for the creativity gone into these. Oh, and it crosses back this way? I don't know. I kind of got lost. I crossed over. It does a little bit of a figure 8 or something. No, that's very fun though. And then we got this nice little eatery place here. Is there anything on the inside? Ooh, a little bit dark here, but a whole lot of seating, some restaurants, and you get some food and chill out. Ooh, look at the lovely garden over here. Like that. So it does look like it's a pre-made boat launch. We did ride it in last week's video all the way around. So now it has a different station, right? It's got that racing look to it. But in theory, I kind of know my way around. And I don't want to make the mistake that I did last week going to my quote-unquote favorite area last. I want to check it out right now, right here, because we are, in fact, here. So what did we see from last week's concept? In this area, it was a rainy Donkey Kong style adventure jungle, right? Adventure DLC made custom. Now, over here for this week's park, it is a racing theme. Much different, and I quite like this. It gives me one of my favorite coasters early on in Planet Coaster 1, before we had dual synchronized coasters. Riddler Revenge came up with the idea of Mobius-style coasters to create dueling coasters, and they did it with a foxy racing theme. So for whatever reason, I get like when I see this racing stuff in Planet Coaster with, you know, dueling coasters plus racing combined, it definitely gives me some nostalgia and some foxy racing vibes. So I love it. I'd love to see some Foxy Racing return. I'm a little bit sad because Foxy is a mascot that didn't make it into Planet Coaster 2. And she's the coffee mascot. How can we have a theme park game and not have a coffee mascot? And Foxy Racing, come on. I want to relive that. Okay, this is strange. I told you guys just a second ago that the Ruin Rider, or whatever it was called, was originally set to closed when I opened the park. And then I set it to test mode. And then I was kind of concerned that it auto-saved. I did put the go-karts into test mode, so it didn't auto-save. I think there's a ghost manipulating this park. For whatever reason, the guests in Planet Coaster don't like going on go-karts. In Planet Coaster 2, sorry. It's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, we'll do this first lap in seat view, and then we could do an orbit view. Yeah, so far I've never really seen any guests lined up to go on go-karts in Planet Coaster 2 in any of the parks that we featured. Oddly enough, it was the exact opposite problem in Planet Coaster 1, where when we did Project Planko, the guests wanted to go on nothing but the go-karts. But, to our credit, they were probably the best go-karts ever made. Quite literally. This is really cool. I love this. I really like the dugout here. Like, we're kind of sunken down below the rest of the park. So you carved it out and put it into this own little area, which works really good for bleachers and all that stuff. No, I like this a lot. Here's an orbit view look. Circuit's really fun. It gives you like Formula Racing vibes, right? And we can see if it has any nighttime lighting for this lap. Quite good. I mean, I would hope so. Got all these like spotlights and stuff like that, so we can have a nighttime race. I like all the... So these are all the custom media that I must have downloaded. Red Bull sponsorships, that sort of thing. Shell gas stations. Yeah, really nice. Feels like a genuine racing circuit, you know? I like it. It's the first of its kind in Planet Coaster 2 that we've seen so far. We've definitely seen this style done in the first game. Definitely the first of its kind here today. I like it. And looking at it from a bird's eye view here, you got the restaurant up above. You're building it all in, like I said, with the pathing going all the way around and the fencing. Has a really incredible look and feel. I mean, it's definitely a vibe over here. Ooh, I love the logo there as well. Really good custom artistry gone into all this. Love it. Even have little cameraman stands here. Winder Vision, 4K. Love it. Oh, and the trophy room. Yo. Chaddington Championship Silverstone presents. That is a sick trophy. Really nicely done. And a viewing area up top. Wow. That is stunning. Okay, so this is kind of crazy. Last week, this area in that park was my favorite area, but it was Adventure DLC. This is a completely different vibe, and I can already tell you, it's probably going to end up being my favorite area. Everywhere I look, my eyes are like, yes, this is awesome to look at, you know? And it's done in a way that we haven't really seen yet. You know, it's got that modern theme, right? We're using modern architecture with the racing kind of aesthetic placed over top of it, as the painting coat. You know, we've got big giant spinning wheels in the background. Everything is racing vibes. What is this? This looks like the front of a vehicle, a Formula racing vehicle as a welcome gate. That's really cool. Everything about this is really sick. And like I said, first of its kind, because we haven't really seen anybody tackle a whole fully fledged area using this. The red, blue colors everywhere, really lending aid. White and black. Yeah, the racing colors are fan-freaking-tastic. Even got a little golfy car here. Oh, selling drinks. I love that. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm assuming we are heading towards the Dueling Coasters. I really like how we get there too. This is quite a fun experience. Look, we got these viewing windows to check out that coaster. It looks super intricate. I mean, we're kind of getting spoiled in the way doing it the way we're doing it, because last week I said the Dueling Coasters were probably the best Dueling Coasters I've ever experienced. I might have to like second that today. These look incredible. And here we go. These are the actual queues. What a good way to integrate your queues. So guests can kind of just walk up here and wander around, but then the queues actually start up here, and gosh darn it, these are some sick views. Really sick. Like, oh, I love this park. I really do. It's such a unique theme. I encourage more people to tackle this and hopefully get inspired by this. Here we go. Pillsbury Force and CaptainSwzzer Racing. Got to give it up to CaptainSwzzer. CaptainSwzzer is one of our channel moderators. So is Beartastic. So, you know, obviously I'm going to feature them. They're both pioneers and legends in this community. They're both on the Bard squad, and they both competed in this challenge. And I had no idea CaptainSwzzer sent one in. So when I featured Bears last week, it was just a coincidence. I decided to, you know, look through and see what else had been submitted, and I stumbled across this. So obviously I'm gonna grab two of our legends slash moderators and feature them back to back because it's fitting, it's fun, and we can have a fun little mini competition here on the channel because we love a good healthy dose of friendly competition. So this is the CaptainSwzzer coaster, 2 kilometers in length. They did say it was the fastest coaster in the UK, and we're going at 131 kilometers per hour at the max speeds and average 60. 5 inversions, a little bit of airtime, 4 seconds of airtime on this. Very cool stuff. We're going to be kicking things off with a front bumper. Let's freaking go. This is absolutely stunning. I'm in awe already. Let's go. Good googly moogly, phenomenally well constructed. Absolutely freaking love it. Getting nostalgia again, like I said, Foxy Racing vibes. We're gonna have to pop out and do the cheat view so we can hop straight over to the other blue one over here. Oh man, I really love this red blue. It's so clean. Red blue on concrete with white and black. You guys absolutely nailed it on this. So this is the Pillsbury Force, which they said the Pillsbury was the mascot for their area or their park or something like that. I can't quite remember. We're gonna do look forward at the back, I think, or see if this works. Maybe we can do an orbit or something. But I definitely want to see this one at night because if it's anything like the Go-Karts, they're gonna have a pretty cool nighttime experience over here. Let's go. All right, off we go. love it. I do wish there was a tad bit more light strips on some of the coaster bits here and there, just to give it that, you know, racetrack vibes. Kind of like the pot lights that you put around a track, but put it on the coaster track instead. I think that would have been thematically quite nice. But overall, pretty darn incredible. And in the spirit of fairness, since we've been doing a lot of kind of comparisons and friendly competition between last week and this, I think it's fair we check it out in cinematic. Not only because it's pretty rare that I do this, but I did this on last week's Dueling Coasters. So I think it's fitting to do that. And we could talk for a little bit while we go check this out. Okay, off we go. Cinematic view. Dueling Coasters. Great interactions between these. They felt like Dueling Coasters, but also racing coasters, most importantly. Now, I mentioned the nostalgia there and how it gives me the Foxy Coffee Circuit racing vibes back in the day in Planet Coaster. And oddly enough, that whole thing inspired a series of racing coasters throughout this community, and more specifically Mobius style racing coasters, because back then we didn't have dueling coasters. I think it took Frontier a lot longer to get dueling coasters into the game than it did for Planet Coaster 2. Wow, look at that view there with the fish lens there. Oh my goodness, that is sick. So yeah, after I saw Foxy's Racing, I got so inspired, I made Chief Beef Racing. And I made a racing coaster themed around Chief Beef. Shortly after, young Jamie sent one in for Pizza Bandit Racing. And Lauren made or Jubilante, also known as, made a Cosmic Cow Racing coaster. And I think we had a few others. If I'm not mistaken, Synchros did a Tiki Chiki racing coaster. And then I think somebody else did a Princess Amelie, if I remember correctly. Right? I can't remember who did that one, though. I want to say it was Lauren again, but I'm unsure. And with that, at the time, people liked them a lot, especially me. I liked them so much that other people got inspired, and that's why we saw so many racing coasters come from that. It created somewhat of a fad, if you will, right? And this reminds me of that whole fad. It brings back so many memories of that fad, but it's not like themed like, yeah, we have Pillsburyjoboi, but what does that mean, right? To me, it's like F1 Formula racing style theme. It's no particular character or anything like that. The character itself comes from the racing theme. So I'd say this is the most professionally done one of the genre that we've seen throughout this channel's history, right? This was a standalone blueprint submission or whatever, and it takes a play or inspiration off of that racing vibe that we used to see a lot. It would just be, you know, formula. And I like that. It's like the first of its kind in Planet Coaster 2 so far. Still hits on all those nostalgic notes, but we're not seeing like the plankification of like a Chief Beef or Foxy Coffee racing, right? And I'm totally cool with that. And in fact, like I said, it brings back a lot of memories. And to that point, at that time, people were going, well, you know, why don't you do, you know, like a racing coaster contest? You guys might remember we eventually did a dueling coaster contest for Planet Coaster 2. And it goes to my previous point that I just mentioned there is about, you know, how you scale things up, right? Let me just double check if we didn't miss anything in this area. Oh yeah, there's totally like a water coaster back here and some sort of hedge maze or something going on over here. How things scale up. I like the racing coasters so much, and I really love the one we just visited as well. I'm not gonna like them as much after I ride 120 of them, right? And there is a particular interesting way that the Raging Bull is this flat ride, I'm assuming, and it's gonna go through a long queue to get there. So we're gonna actually head on over this way. There's something nice about preservation of your favorite types of rides. And had I done a racing coaster contest, I wouldn't be as, you know, ecstatic about what we saw here today. Seen it 120 times next, you know, that sort of thing. And so that's why we did the dueling coaster contest, because I didn't want to limit people to the style of racing, because racing is slightly different than dueling. I didn't want to force that upon people, and I wanted to preserve the awesomeness that we loved about, how do I get in here? About the racing coasters. I'm gonna go down this way. It seems like it might be an entrance and an exit, but I do see a lot of people coming down this way. Or we're just gonna go up the exit if it's an exit. I can't seem to find the entrance, so is what it is. Unless the ride broke down and they're all leaving. No, that's definitely an exit. Where's the entrance? I'm kind of determined to find this entrance. Oh, well, that wasn't very clear. See, sometimes you guys debate me and I get yelled at for going up exits. This was the entrance, and it's also the exit, and lo and behold, you probably missed it too, and you're watching this video yelling from your monitor. We went up an exit. Nope, this is the entrance. I had to walk it backwards to figure that out. Anyways, to my previous point though, scaling things up and keeping preservation of coasters and rides. Sometimes it's, there's so many contests that I've wanted to do in the past and throughout this channel's history that sometimes it's better to not do them because it will create flavor fatigue within something we already love in sort of some ways ruining what we like. And then the other point is some things just don't scale well. I love this contest challenge idea that we've been experiencing throughout this week and last week with Winder TV's Park Layout Challenge. And it's fun to experience that, right? But when we have 100 submissions like this, it just doesn't work. So I definitely love the idea of featuring stuff that's been done on other communities and other channels. Because generally speaking, it's something we can't necessarily do here with a community as large as it is. So, very fun. It's been a fun kind of experience seeing how these creators are doing and approaching things differently. And I gotta say, I don't know how to pick a favorite here. Nostalgia, I'm picking that Dueling Coaster as my favorite from comparing these 2 weeks together. But atmospherically speaking, and you know the way the coaster was designed last week, I also love that. We'll give this Dueling Coasters this week because of the nostalgia and the awesome racing theme. We'll give the winner to this week. CaptainSwzzer takes the W on that one. But Beartastic's team definitely did the better go-karts. Those Donkey Kong Racing Adventure completely custom everything. That one really takes the W for me. And so far, both parks had underwhelming water coasters. Yeah, neither of you win. I mean, they're all right. Water coasters are hard to get really cool. Actually, you know what? I think I'll give it to this one here. I think this one edges out last week's. Yeah. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you saw last week's and this week's, what did you like more between the two? They're both so unique. And I think that's also a fun thing to see. While the challenges themselves had constraints, like you must build a wooden coaster, you must build a dueling coaster, go-karts, etc., water coaster. It is very fun to see how different the two teams approached the tasks at hand and coming out with very different experiences, but at a very high quality too. I mean, CaptainSwzzer leading the charge on this team, Beartastic leading the charge on the other team. Both legends in this community for their respective reasons. So, you know, their team's going to be doing things very, very well. I did kind of peek through Winder TV's videos and saw some of the other creations. They look really fun too, but I do have a feeling, just off the brief, you know, browsing I had done, it just so happens that I think we got our hands on the top two teams here. So that's another reason I'm pretty good at stopping here. We got the top two here and love to see it. And we're going to be moving on to other parks and creations because, as I mentioned, I think I did mention this last week, 75 park submissions have come in since the Flume contest. And at the time of me recording this, I literally have just spent the last 3 days reviewing them all. not recording them, just looking at them, giving my thoughts, taking some pictures, you know, that sort of thing, pre-screening them, if you will. All right. So that being said, let me pop out for a second here. Did we miss anything on this island? We got everything over there, and we did the ruins. I did see mini golf, so I'm curious to know how this works. We saw mini golf in this exact area last week. Are there any differences between the two? I definitely feel like they're decorated differently. So maybe the challenge was to decorate it yourself. And we got a little hedge maze off to the side as well. Very fun. What's the sign say? Mini golf, snacks, coffee, and toilets. Cool. Love this custom bridge. Nice scene here. On the little viewing point as well. Oh, with a glass floor. Ooh. And did you do the hidden paths thing? Can guests actually walk up here? I think so. That's nice. And a zip line taking you down into through the mini golf? Oh, that's kind of sick. As you're zipping through, you're watching people. Oh, I mean, that's gonna be so distracting while you're golfing. Some guy screaming above you as you're trying to make your putt. I love it though. And there's a little playground over here as well. I think we saw in last week's park. Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh no, what was my last train of thought? Okay, I plopped myself back down here, and I have remembered my train of thought. So 75 creations were sent in. As of right now, I have reviewed them all. I spent this I'm actually scrambling to get this video out to you guys for Thursday and recording it Wednesday night. So we're running, we gotta play some catch up because I spent the entire week just looking at creations, which takes a lot of time, and thus I cannot be recording and editing during said time. Oh, I'm getting Emerald Dream Oz vibes from these lampposts. Very cool. Yeah, so I've looked at them all, and holy moly, I've never been so excited to record Park Spotlights again for you guys. Like I said, when Planet Coaster 2 just came out, I was recording anything and everything that was being sent in, and obviously, it's not going to be at the crazy high quality that you've seen from Planet Coaster 1 because people were doing it in such a short amount of time. So now people have been cooking. People have been cooking. Like, we're looking at this park here today. Amazing. One of the top tier parks we've seen so far. Same with last week's. These things were made between 4 to 5 people over the course of 4 months. All right. Some people have been cooking even longer than that. I'm definitely getting some, oh, this is cool, some steampunkish vibes as well, or like BioShock Infinite or something, right? Yeah, it gives me BioShock vibes. That's what it is. This is kind of cool. Is this a gulpy playground, like a McDonald's playground with all the pipes and stuff? This is so sick. Oh my god. Oh, it's all for the teacups. Look at this. Oh wow. I love the details of this ride skin, you guys. That's quite incredible. Gulpy bubbly. Yeah, that should be a new thing. They should make a bubbly shop. Carbonated bubbly water. Carbonated gulpy without zero sugar. This is sick. Really cool queue as well. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, people have been cooking. And of these 75 parks I reviewed, I think I gave at least a dozen of them a 5 out of 5 Channel 5 Gaming 5-star approval. Speaking of Channel 5, that's the Johnny 5 robot. Kind of, in crab form. Crab form Johnny 5. Oh, I hear some Plankosmith, Aerosmith. Wow! Wait, is that the, oh, wow. That is quite the skin for the little sled ride. Oh my heavens. I like this futuristic, bubbly-looking sci-fi theme you guys got going on here. It's definitely unique. Kind of mixing in these aquatic pieces to make some sort of sci-fi. It's pretty fun. Electric slide. We got to check this out. To finish my last thought, though, and leave it at that, I have an infinite amount of parks that I want to bring to the show, so I'm going to be recording for a hot minute going into next week. So, awesome. Love the hair. All right, so be sure to hit that notification button, guys. If you don't have it on, you're not going to want to miss out on what's coming up next. We've got a huge lineup. I don't even know what to do with myself. I need 3 of myself right now. Okay, Planetarium. And it's a freaking carousel. Little merry-go-round. Let's go. I feel like we should be at night, maybe? Question mark. This feels, very spacey area. Yeah, this is probably one of the coolest takes on sci-fi that I've seen. And this was obviously done before we had the sci-fi pack in Planet Coaster 2, or I should say Planet Coaster 1 converted into 2. So they did this all with just like mainly majority aquatic pieces, right? And I like that aesthetic a lot more. I definitely think if you were a fan of BioShock, you can do a lot of BioShock-inspired builds here in Planet Coaster 2 with this pack, and I highly encourage it because I think that's such a unique art style. Going back today, it wasn't as good of an experience as I thought it to be. Did I not go inside this building here? Why do I turn around and feel like I hadn't seen this building? Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if is there nothing in it? More shops. Okay, it's just shops. No, the building really stands out a lot differently than the rest. All right. Very fun area. Playful, vibrant, bubbly. Bubble Trouble. Is that the teacups again from the backside? I'm assuming it is. Bubble Trouble. That's got to be one of the... probably my favorite teacups that I have ever seen. Look at the integration all the way on the outside. You guys got a sneak peek of what was on the inside. The queue was phenomenal. Ooh, I love the hedge work out here as well. It's really nice. One of the most unique areas we've seen in a themed area of Planet Coaster 2 so far. This gives me Willy Wonka vibes. Felix Flux's Factory Fiasco. So, last week, in its place, in this exact location, was the extremely underwhelming something hunt. We had to hunt down creatures in the most underwhelming fashion possible. But this is Factory Fiasco. Complete opposite, right? If I think of a Factory Fiasco, I'm thinking Willy Wonka, right? And that beats the brakes off of the underwhelming ride from last week. And I can say that because that was the name of it. I can be salty about it because that was the intention. So, I have high hopes, and the bar is extremely high going into the Factory Fiasco. Is it going to be an Omni Mover? I'm going to assume that the challenge that they did was an Omni Mover indoor dark ride in this location of the park, right? And so far, I haven't seen too many good Omni Movers. Maybe one, and it was the Pebbles Journey. Oh my heavens. Oh my freaking heavens. I have to find the right seat. Okay, this one is leaving the station. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I haven't seen too many Omni Movers that were good. It was the Pebbles one from Flux's Wonders Park. Legends and Wonders. And it was phenomenal. Wow. And this is... this one is promising to be good. Fiasco. Felix's Fiasco. Love his, like, cloud hair. His hair is made out of clouds. That is adorable. Oh my god. Definitely Willy Wonka vibes. But I love the new spin on things. It's not Willy Wonka, it's Felix's Fiasco. Oh, what is happening over here? What is getting dunked? Oh, is that a gnome? Oh my... oh, gnome. Oh, gnome. How could you do that? I didn't even know this would be in here. Oh, wow. What other... the other... Last week's had a whole bunch of crappy jokes. How many crappy gnome jokes can we come up with? I don't gnome anymore. Do you get... Oh. Why is it every time I get on an Omni Mover, I get, like, slightly crazy? Oh, no. Oh. What else we got going on in here? I didn't know you could do that. Oh. Poor little guy. There's gnome getting out of there. Please, no more gnome jokes. Oh. That's adorable. This is adorable. Is there one up there? Hi, peekaboo. Let's go. Blue lever, green lever, make up your mind. He doesn't even know him anymore. Oh, that guy passed out. He's just taking a little dirt nap. This is really cute. I do wish the lighting was amped up a little bit. It's very one-tone light in here. I feel like we could have a few more hot spots, and one good use of lighting is to have, you know, draw your attention to the things that you want to look at through the usage of lighting, right? So if you want me looking over here, by putting a little bit more light in the scene, it's gonna naturally draw my attention to it and force me to look at it. But I said everything is one note lighting in here. As you can see, the lighting is pretty much no different. In fact, it's probably slightly more lit here than it is on the platform. So a few more lights there would have gone a long way. Don't you know? Oh. Great music. These are fun. Wow. Yeah, lots of movers, lots of animatronics. I love it. Compared to last week's, definitely a lot crazier. Hey, we got the robotic arms in here. Conveyor belts. Oh my god. That's amazing. Hello. So we do see the gnomes making multiple appearances in this park. They did say something about the gnomes, didn't they? Trying to look. Engineering Town, our mascot, Dr. Felix Flux. So he is the town's mascot, and I guess as a result, his gnomes have made it throughout the park. Pressurizer. Stupid gnomes. Oh. What are they even made out of? Like little sacks? It's adorable. Yeah, I love the scenes. They're so vibrant, playful. Utilizing, like I said, the aquatic pieces to make that kind of fun factory feel steampunk. It's very interesting because you use the aquatic pack over in this area for this ride, but just next to this area was that kind of BioShock feeling sci-fi area. And I'd say they're distinctly different. This feels more factory to me, whereas the other area actually felt intentionally sci-fi. Yet, they're both using the same pieces, the exact same pieces. So it just goes to show that you can use the same pieces in different ways with different colors and, you know, a mixture of different pieces, and you can create a completely different, tell a different story and create a different atmosphere. Okay, so they're boxing up the gnomes. Is that what's happening here? Because there's a gnome and there's a box. Stupid. Why are you boxing up the gnomes? They're getting all sorts of trouble. Oh, wow. Yeah. It's definitely a smart idea going with the aquatic pack for a Willy Wonka style adventure. So fun. Little grabby hands. I mean, even though last week's had some bad jokes and it moved pretty slow, I still had a lot of fun with it. I was being a little silly throughout the ride. And same with this one, you know? And you guys you've got me coming around to these Omni movers. I do still think they could be 5 kilometers per hour faster. A little bit on the slow side. I still think you can see everything that you want to see and animate and depict your scenes the way you want them to be if this ride was moving slightly faster, right? I don't think it really would affect anything, and if anything, it would just make it like any lulls in between the transitions of the scenes. You want to have enough time to look at everything, but you don't want things going so slow where you've seen it all and you're just waiting for the next area. So I definitely think just a slight bit faster for me personally on the Omni movers that we've seen so far. But then, you know, some of them have just been dreadfully slow with nothing to look at. So I can't really complain. It's pretty good so far. That one was fun. Really like what you guys did with that. Oh, wow. See, as soon as we walk outside, we get that lighting again. I definitely feel like you guys could have punched up the lighting in that room. It was very one-tone-ish, especially with all the fun colors that you have in there, bringing a little bit more light to them so that they pop, right? Very fun, though. Nonetheless, very, very fun. What do we got going on over here? Oh, it's Felix. He's been carved out of hedge plants. What is this? You hear this? This happened exactly here in this location last week. I am not kidding. You can't write this stuff. Okay. Holy freaking moly. We're gonna... All right. Hey, little soccer field. That's cute. And here we have the boat tours. Little fish and chip shop. Brings us over to the boat. Okay. I might as well put us on the boat. We did that last week, so spirit of fairness, we'll get on this boat, and I need to use the bathroom real quick anyways, so we're gonna do a bumper view on 2x speed to the next area. I'll try to point the camera in a fun direction, and I will be right back. My apologies. Oh, we are back. I have a weak bladder today. Okay, we are heading over to the indoor water park area. Woo, look at the shot of the Woody up here. I wasn't too impressed by the water park from last week. I said that the building was amazing, but there were like 3 underwhelming flumes, and that was it. The interior, the wave pools, all really fantastic, but the slides themselves did not deliver. Now, let's see if that is different here. In the spirit of friendly competition, who wins the flume duel? Definitely a different looking build. Quite a nice build, using heavy concrete slabs. Wait, we didn't get off. I think I did this wrong. I'm hopping off in the middle of the water. Yeah, I think I was supposed to get off here and then cross the bridge. I think that's what I did last week. Anyways, we're gonna just plop ourselves down. Ooh, look at these gardens. This is quite a nice area. Okay, across the bridge we go. We're still on 2x speed. Let's fix that. All right. Love the weeping willows in this area. Aqua. Welcome to Aqua, where you can get wet. Ooh, look at this. Blue and orange using complementary colors. Nice aesthetic in here. Everyone's lounging. Ooh, I like it. Feels a lot, like kind of regal. Feels, yeah, a little classy compared to what we saw last week, which was a little more on the playful side. Ooh, this waterfall thing. That's quite nice. Interlinking pools. Oh, does this go under? Can we go through here? Oh, that's where the pool. Oh, splish, splash, slush, slosh. That's cool. You got an exit pool there for all the flumes. Okay, I like this network that you've done here. This is our pool area. This is our flume area. Oh, wait for me. Hello? There we go. We are going to be doing chase view for these. Let's go check and chaser. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Yeah, I like the color palette of this area. The blues and oranges. It's quite nice. Oh, little peering windows. Oh, that looks awesome. Okay, I can already tell you that this park wins on the flumages. And I like the way they exit as well. Now, the interior of the actual indoor pools might have been a little bit more playful on last week's. However, I do like this a lot. I'll give last week the win for the indoor pools, and I'll give this week the win for the flumes. I think that's fair. Oh, wait for me. Here we go. We're gonna pause, go, chase. Whoa, am I on 2x speed? Why does this feel so fast? I'm on 1x speed. Whoa, and a little yeet at the end. All right, I'm gonna go God view so I can get on all these flumes quicker. Ah, he's leaving without us. Oh, that's right. We have to go first person because game designed poorly. Ah. If I'm not in first person, I can't ride third person. If I'm in third person, if I'm in first person, I can ride third person. If I'm in third person, I can't ride third person. The logic there. Only Frontier would design a game that way. Hashtag so salty. It's Pebbles. Hi, Pebbles. We would like to ride with you in camera intersect mode. We're gonna look at it. Whoa! Look at her go. She whipped across the top there. Oh my God, that's amazing. She got some airtime around that. Whipping through. Oh, that is amazing. Okay, we got one more to go on, which would be the splish. Let's splish out. We're gonna do the same thing. Look at this network of flumes. It's kind of insanity. I like it. Beautiful building on this as well. Really nicely designed. And that is our indoor flume water park. What's over here? Oh, Aqua Mini. Ooh. Oh, it's for the kids. I like it. Parents can chill out here, get baked in the sun. Oh, we got a little hot tub. Nice. This is quite nice. All right. Another very interesting art style gone into the architecture over here. I love to see it, you guys. And boom, I think we've done full circle. Last time, we did spend 15-20 minutes checking out all of the towns and behind the scenes, and I did walk all the way through there. There's like a crazy guy shooting stuff. I don't seem to see that happening over here, right? No. So there is some sort of element of customization that both teams had done in terms of the town side. So there's like a quick look at it. Oh, I love this. Oh, little RV camp. It's adorable. But yeah, we don't really need to look at too much of this because we know now that most of it was pre-designed by Winder TV as part of the park layout. So in terms of the main areas of the park, we started here, we head on through, we hit up the ruins, we went to the whole racing area, we came on through here and we had that wacky bio. Ooh, we did miss this junior, so we're gonna check that out. And yeah, and then this kind of fun Bioshock looking stuff. That's amazing. I definitely missed that. So that's why we do the flyover to check things out from a bird's eye view. And then we finish things off with the indoor water park. Very, very nice. So let's kick off with a junior and then give our final thoughts and discuss. And off we go. What's this? Oh, it's the guy again, Felix. He's making blueprints, designing stuff, inventions. Okay. Explaining things to us. Felix science. I like it. Very fun. Yeah, I really like the way that this area came out. It's very playful, vibrant, but also unique, right? It stands out from things we've seen before. It's original, and I think there's a lot of reason to get inspired by this aquatic pack. In fact, aquatic pack is officially and confirmed the most underused theme in Planet Coaster 2 so far. In fact, we've really only seen it used as accents. And what I mean by that is what we're seeing here. This is obviously not an underwater aquatic area, all right? But we can tell these are the aquatic pieces. So by accenting, I mean people have used the aquatic pieces in ways that they're not intended to be used, which is fine. But we haven't actually seen a whole lot of actual aquatic areas in parks. We haven't seen too much underwater. We haven't seen submarine stuff. We haven't seen a whole lot of like harbors and boat launches. It's definitely on the more underused side of things, but you know, I feel its presence here. I feel like it's being heavily used over here without being aquatic. It's more than an accent. It is the primary feature, yet it's done in such a fun way that it's no longer aquatic. So I definitely love this. I want to see more aquatic sci-fi, aquatic factory, because I think it actually works better as this than it does as aquatic. I mean, I say that, but obviously it's going to work great as aquatic for what it's intended to be used as, but I think a lot of people are kind of scared to attempt building underwater stuff. And rightfully so, right? It's hard to make an underwater world and visualize how that's going to turn out. It's a bit of a daunting task. So let's talk about it. We've kind of done comparisons throughout the last week's park and this one. I keep saying last week's park because I forgot the name of it, and let me pull it up. Camp Cryptid. That's right. Camp Cryptid. I'll never remember that name. Camp Cryptid. The park had a lasting impression on me that I will remember, but the name Camp Cryptid just doesn't stick for some reason. It does not stick. Chaddington Falls definitely sticks. It's a fun name for sure. So comparison between Camp Cryptid, it's even hard to say, Camp Cryptid and Chaddington Falls here. We made some comparisons along the way, and I think they both did a lot of things great. It's tough. I loved both the Woodies. I think this one was a little bit more open. I could see more. There was in Camp Cryptid, there was a lot more trees and just coaster supports in my way, at least from what I can remember off the top of my head. They both had beautiful boarding stations from what I remember. Very, very cool there. I think I'm going to give the wooden coaster the win for over on this park. The dueling coasters were both phenomenal. I'll give the win to this, the racing coasters this week. The Go-Karts win last week. For the indoor water park, I'll give the pools to last week's and the Flumes to this week's. I like the underwhelming ride because it was funny, but Felix Factory takes the W over here. I can't remember what else was in this area from last week, so I can't, it's been a week and I've already forgotten, but I think there's a lot of things that both parks did well, right? Truly. Oh yeah, this area had like a mine train coaster that was really fun. I think I like the mine train coaster more than the ruins coaster, but then this gives me Oblivion vibes, so I like this one. It's close. We're pulling at straws here. They're visually both stunning parks and both remarkably different. And as I mentioned throughout the episode that, you know, they do feel similar. Right? We've seen this island, we've seen this layout. And for me personally, I think the spirit of designing parks and some of the most memorable parks and the excitement that I get from looking at parks and bringing them to you guys, I would say there's a heavy majority of the emphasis gone into the park layout, right? And as I just said, I just reviewed 75 parks, and the ones that got me the most excited did something extremely interesting with the terrain. They built it on a cliff or made a giant canyon or have tons of elevation and create a lot of focal points and interesting things to look at. So, you know, while this challenge is really cool and very fun, it is a little bit of a shame that the creators didn't get to do that terraforming, because I know Beartastic, CaptainSwzzer, and all the people involved are really good at doing things with the terrain. So for that reason, that's why I said I don't really want to look at too many more than just the two of these here today, because I get excited about looking at the, what did you do with the rivers? What did you do with the vistas? What did you do with the views? And we know between these two parks that they actually had no hand in that at this point. So it's like, how did you utilize what was given to you and make the most of it? That is fun. Right? And it is a cool concept. And for that, I thought it was fun thought experiment to check these out back to back. And it is really nice to see what they did differently. And they did take a huge creative spin, as both these parks are almost, you know, completely different. But to my previous point, to digress a little, if you just quickly look at them from a bird's eye view, you might think that they're the same park. And that is why the landscape is so important in park spotlights, for sure. So I definitely like this concept from Winder. It was a fun experience, and I'm kind of thankful for, like, you know, the creators sending in these submissions and making us aware. And if you guys really like it, go check out Winder TV and check out what the other parks looked like, right? See what the other people have done, because there was more than just the two teams that we looked at. And I've also taken a poke around and seen some of the other submissions that are looking pretty fantastic. But I have a feeling we got our hands on the top two teams, I think. And we're probably going to leave it at that for now, as they were the only two that were sent in. So I think I'm good there. So amazing job on this one, CaptainSwzzer. What was my favorite aspect of this park? I mean, it's definitely going to go over to the speed racing area. I really love the composition. You know, I did say I love the go-karts from last week's for the reasons I gave last week, but there is something really just beautiful about this go-kart area. The whole area came together exquisitely, and you paired that and tied it in with that dueling coaster. This area here, for me, visually, creatively, is one of the most stunning themed areas that I've seen in Planet Coaster 2, especially because, you know, it's like almost using Studios DLC, or, you know, some of those modern pieces that we just don't have in Planet Coaster 2. And you know, it's not Viking, it's not fantasy, it's not all the things we've seen so far, and we've actually never seen this so far. So it's the first of its kind, completely original, and for that, hands down, my favorite area of this park, and honestly, worth the whole park spotlight in and of itself, right? Like, I love this. If we just came to this park just for this, I would be satisfied. But we also got an incredible Woody, some great ruin coaster, water slides, and all this fun stuff as well. So complete package. Your team knocked it out of the park. Same with last week. I don't know which one I like more in total, and I'll leave that up to you guys. So is it going to Camp Cryptid or Chaddington Falls? Fire away down in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next Park Spotlight. Bye now.